it's time to get that bathroom faucet changed. Now, whatever the reason, whether it's purely cosmetic, you're upgrading, or maybe you've got a persistent leak that regardless of repair, you just haven't been able to lick, it's not really too challenging of a project. It's just got some tight clearances, but I'm sure you can get it taken care of. The tools are pretty basic, so let's just get into it and get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is to turn off your water supplies, and then go back up top and open the faucet to make sure you've relieved the pressure. Now at this point, you're going to want to disconnect the supply lines from the back of the faucet, from the bottom of the faucet. And although you might be able to get it with a set of channel locks, a basin wrench or one of these plumbing tools will take care of that problem as well. One of the ends has a hex cut in it just for that sort of thing. Now, you'll want to remove the stopper connection, and even though your replacement faucet might use a similar style, it just seems easier to make sure. So we do that by sliding the metal band towards the back. And there's also a screw up here that I'll show you as soon as I get it off. That might need the help of a set of channel locks to get loose. There we go. It looks like that. And it has the stopper rod runs down through it. So you'll need to loosen that to get that off as well. Now all that's left on this particular model is a couple of large oversized plastic nuts, and we'll use this end of this wrench to get those taken care of. You can also reach up in there with a set of channel locks if you need to. I'll show you those when I get those out. There's one. Different faucets use different attachment methods. So your new one might have a different method, or your old one might have a different method. But this one's pretty simple. They just screw on and tighten to the bottom of the sink, and then your supply line actually screws on right behind them to supply water to it. So now that you've got it removed, you want to clean the deck of the sink, get your new one unpacked, and get it thrown in. You've got the old one out, you've got the top surface of the sink cleaned and ready. Your new one is unpacked, and although it might look slightly different in how it mounts, and it may or may not come with a plastic flange like this, you simply want to install the flange, set it on top of the sink, and everything else happens underneath. We're going to install these two washers, or these two plastic nuts, and get them tight using the same end of the tool you took to remove them, obviously. And although it's a little tight underneath this wall sink, you can expect it to actually be even tighter under most vanities. So this is taking entirely too long. I gotta get started. Come on, guy. There we go. Apparently I can start it with my right hand just fine. Now once you've got them on and pretty much finger tight, you can adjust the placement of the sink as you need to. And then use the tool or a basin wrench or whatever tool you can fit up in there to access your style of mounting. Get those tight. And as you've heard me say before, they need to be tight, but not crazy tight, especially on a porcelain sink. We don't want to do anything that might damage it. Now, by changing the fitting of this tool, I can use it to get the supply lines nice and tight. You know what, actually? Let's put the stopper rod in place first. Slide it through the top. I'm going to tighten this nut on the rod. Just going to do it by hand so it doesn't need a tool in the future. Then, with these metal bands, you insert one hole, and then the strap, and then the back hole, and the tension from the band will hold it in place. And it goes right up here. There we go. Make sure this is tight so it doesn't leak. Now you're going to reattach your supply lines. But you always want to start doing them by hand so you don't cross thread them. And once they're on a couple of turns, I can use this end of the wrench of this particular tool to get them tight. Get the other side, a few turns by hand. Finish it up with the tool. Now, once you're sure everything is in and tight, you just want to turn the water back on, like so. Turn on the faucet. Make sure you don't have any leaks at any of the connections you've worked with, that everything looks good, and you're ready to go. Now go pick out that faucet of your dreams.